gentleman tonight who's going to share with you this huge, big opportunity, guys. I'm telling you, he is such a model to follow. He comes from humble beginnings like most of us here in this industry, but the drive that he had and the passion to help people and to really empower others in his family is just to be applauded. And he went on to become a multiple seven-figure earner in this industry. So I can't think of a better person to give us all the ins and outs on Jubi Rev, Jubi Max than my good friend, Mr. T. Lamont Silver. The floor is yours, T. Lamont.
Thank you so much, Boomy, and we really appreciate you doing those introductions. And I love, and I can tell you, Boomy, on the other side, it looks like a lot of people love and look forward to those Empower Me Now moments. Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to have each and every one of you from all across the globe. I think Jakarta, is that in India? And I don't know much about geography either, but I think that might be in India, Boomy. Folks from all across the globe, whether they're Australia, the U.S., Canada, the islands, South America, Europe. What we're going to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is Jubi Rev, Jubi Max. Jubi Rev is our company's promoter portal. We are the marketing arm, Jubi Rev, for Jubi Max, which is our company's customer portal. We've been in the industry, by the way, for 19 years, and going on 20. We struggled like most people in the industry. We finally hit our stride. And I tell you what, excuse me, when we first got in this industry, we were college kickouts, Nikisha, and delivering pizzas. Hadn't been married that long. We were kids when my wife and I got married, 22, got in this industry when we were 24. And, you know, we had stars in our eyes. You know, we bought into the idea that we deserved to have it all. And we bought into the idea of being able to generate $10,000 a month or more in this industry. And, gosh, it took a long time to get there. We finally got there. But what we were not prepared for, Robert, was the empty feeling that we were making a lot of money, but most of our teammates weren't. Most of our teammates weren't even making enough to cover an auto ship or a monthly subscription. Hey, if that's you, you've been in the industry for a while, and you tried this, and you tried that, and tried this, and you really didn't even make enough money to cover things like your auto ship or your monthly subscription. If that's you, I won't call your name out. Just put a yes in the questions box or a Y. I want to know who I'm talking to so that we can really, oh, wow, a bunch of you. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about how the game changed a couple of years ago. Jubi Rev, again, is the income opportunity side of Jubi Max, which is our product-oriented side. Jubi Rev, we want you to make money. Jubi Max, we're going to have products and services like skin care, weight loss, energy, vitality, travel, as represented by this couple here, online shopping with the cashback portion so that you actually save money while spending money through systems that you would normally purchase from Walmart, Gap, Office Depot, so on and so forth. Okay, so here we were. First few years we struggled. We finally hit our stride. Finally made that first $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month, and yet there was an empty feeling. And then a couple of years ago, we stumbled upon a new compensation model, relatively new to this industry, known as a revenue sharing model, where now all of our teammates were starting to make money on a daily basis. So we're going to show you how average, everyday people are changing their lifestyles in record time. The question is, are you ready? By the way, the word Jubi is short for jubilant. Jubilant can mean a conqueror. Jubilant can mean, I'm sorry, not a conqueror. Jubilant can mean thrilled, excited, jubilant, triumphant. That's the word I was looking for. Triumphant. And so for Jubi Rev, we want our teammates, our promoters, as our company refers to us, to be triumphant in the income opportunity. We want our customers to be excited, thrilled, elated about the product. All right, our vision is to spark a global economic movement. I'm going to share with you this evening how this model, this revenue sharing model that we're going to leverage here at Jubi Rev, how it allowed us to go from having teams of thousands, but majority of them were not making money, to teams into the hundreds, hear me, of thousands, and that all of our qualified promoters were starting to earn daily. Our vision is to spark a global economic movement to lead the revenue sharing revolution while at the same time empowering people from all across the globe. Whether it's our friends there from Indonesia that just came on, hate to mispronounce your name, from Indonesia, or whether it's Carla from Cincinnati, or maybe it's Dale from Illinois, people from all across the globe. We're going to empower people to look good, feel good, and live good. We've got to have not just a vision, but we need a visionary leader, and we have a visionary leader. Our president, President J. Joshua Beisel, is a former president and top executive of a alternative energy company, so he comes to us with executive experience. He also comes to us with home business building experience, taking a borrowed budget of $55, 36 cents, parlaying that into multiple seven-figure enterprises. We were just out with our president last week in Phoenix, Arizona, and got a chance to tour a business that he founded, that he's the CEO of, that has about 90 employees. It's the largest independent MLM call center in the world. Again, he comes with executive experience. Corporate highlights. Our company is registered in the British Virgin Islands. As a matter of fact, our very first international office will be opening up very, very soon. As a matter of fact, there's some folks down there getting all that ready for us as we speak on this webinar. We've got a fully staffed customer support that works around the globe. Also, our in-house software development team. Our entire system has been built from the ground up, so we don't have to go to somebody else and say, hey, can you add it? No, we've got our own programming team, our own legal team, which includes our general counsel, who is absolutely an attack dog. He's there to help us from a regulatory standpoint. But also we got the top MLM attorneys to make sure that our compensation model and our payout structure and all of that is in legal standing and compliant standing. And we have real products. Now, Jubi Rev is the marketing arm of Jubi Max. We are leading the revenue sharing revolution. We're not just a company, we are a movement. Again, at Jubi Max, we have products and services designed for people to look good and feel good and live good. Okay, so let's tell you just a little bit about this model we stumbled upon a couple of years ago. Now, obviously, Jubi, we are in our pre-launch stage, and so we're leveraging this model that we saw a couple of years ago. Now, with this model, we had a young lady who's on the webinar today. Her name is Lynn. Lynn had followed us for several years in this industry. Lynn is like so many folks, and again, if you can identify with Lynn, I'm going to want you to open up your questions box and put a yes there. So this is what Lynn would do, okay? Lynn would invite someone to a conference call, webinar, or maybe an offline presentation. That person would promise they were going to come, and they didn't show. Anybody ever dealt with that? Put a yes in your questions box. Then Lynn would invite someone to come to an offline meeting or conference call or webinar. That person would actually show. But then when Lynn would follow up, the person would never call Lynn back. If you ever dealt with that, put a yes. You know what Lynn felt like. Lynn would invite someone to a conference call, webinar, or an offline presentation. That person would come to the offline presentation, said they were going to join, and then they never joined. Can I identify with that? Put a yes. Okay, someone said yes, time 100. Okay, and then Lynn invited somebody to a conference call, webinar, offline presentation. Person said they were going to join. Person joined. Okay, joined, yes. And then 2 weeks later, Lynn never heard from him again. If you ever dealt with that, put a yes. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the challenge is the way that most of these compensation structures are constructed. You have to be really good at recruiting, really good at sponsoring, really good at selling. As a matter of fact, there's a quiet little rule that's kept that about 10% of all of the money that's made in this industry, about 90% of all the money that's made in this industry comes from the 10% of those that are really the go-getters. Well, what if there was a way that a compensation model could still reward that 10% as the go-getters, but can also reward the 90% that have the heart, that have the drive, that they've got their goals, they've got great personal empowerment, but it just hasn't worked for them. And that's what we found a couple of years ago in the form of a revenue sharing model. So Lynn, who had never been good at recruiting, sponsoring, or selling, She joined with us. A few months down the road, my gosh, she was making enough to make a car payment. A few months after that, she was making enough to not only make a car payment but a house note. A few months after that, she was making enough not only to make a car payment and a house note, but have a full-time income. So in just a few short weeks, we're in pre-launch. In a few short weeks, we're going to transition into our soft launch. This is where our daily revenue sharing is going to start, this compensation model I'm talking to you about, where the company is going to take up to 50% of its daily commissionable sales revenue 7 days a week, and it's going to share that across the board with all of our qualified promoters, and I'll share with you how you will be able to get your piece of that pie. Before we get into the income opportunity, however, we need to understand that the income opportunity is only as good as the product offering. And I've got to warn you, you've got to be careful if you're out there on the internet. You're opening up your emails, you're getting pitched left and right and left, and everything looks so good. Everybody is telling you can make all this money and all these great compensation models, and there's quite a few revenue sharing models out there these days. Here's your litmus test. Does the company have products and services that the consuming public would want, even if they had nothing to do with the income model? If the answer to that is no, then you're probably looking at a short-lived opportunity. We're not interested in a short-lived opportunity. We're certainly not interested in you going out and promoting something and putting your name on something only for it to crash and burn in 6 months or 9 months or a year. So let's talk about the power of our product. Now, one of the things that our management team was insistent on is that we had products and services that provided what our President Meisel likes to refer to as net zero consumables, meaning people can purchase products and services that they're already purchasing. We don't need to get them to spend new money. They just transition where they're spending the money. We call it transfer spending. So, for instance, there's a lot of folks out there. They're buying skincare. This is one of the top-selling products on the internet today. And if it's not skincare, it's weight loss. As a matter of fact, I was talking with our manufacturer just about 3 weeks ago, and he was saying with our weight loss products, our Jubi branded weight loss products, if people just replace 1 meal a day with that shake, and I'm telling you, that shake is good. I love that shake. You put a little almond milk in that, and maybe put some fruit in there, maybe some bananas, little stevia. Oh my gosh, that is good. He said if they just replace 1 meal a day with our weight loss shake, they'll probably lose somewhere between 8 to 10 to 12 pounds. That's weight loss. What about energy? I love our energy product. Time doesn't permit me to give you my energy testimony. I love our energy product, Vitality. All you've got to do is look at her, how she's looking at him, and look at him and how he's looking at her. It's a family show, so you can probably figure out it has something to do with romance. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just knew when I talked to the manufacturer that the male formula would fly off the shelf. I knew that. Vince from Vegas, I knew that. What I wasn't prepared for, Joanne, is how much he's telling me that female formula flies off the shelf. Skincare, energy, weight loss, vitality. These are just 4 of our product categories. There'll be other product categories that we haven't even discussed. Our Jubi Trainer, that kind of goes with our weight loss, and we'll have a 90-day weight loss challenge. And then our Jubi Rebates. This is where we'll be able to shop, our customers will be able to shop at merchants they already know. Walmart, Target, Best Buy, 1-800-Flowers. When we shop through our Jubi Rebates portal, excuse me, I feel a cough coming on, not only are we going to buy what we're used to buying from merchants we're used to buying from, but we're going to get rebates. It might be 2, 3, 4, 10%, depending on the merchant, as a cash back rebate. Mama said a penny saved is a penny earned. And so what we'll do, for instance, my family, my wife and I, we shop religiously at Walmart. So we'll go and we'll get a Walmart gift card through our Jubi Rebates portal. Go and spend that gift card at the local Walmart, but we're going to get 2, 3, 4% cash back, depending on what Walmart pays back. And here's the beautiful part. Each transaction, the company is going to net some profit. It might be 1% of the transaction, might be 2% of the transaction. Could you imagine? In time, hundreds of thousands of, and perhaps even millions of not just promoters, but customers using the Jubi Rebates, and the company getting 1 or 2% as an impact to its bottom line, and then it shares a portion of that with us. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a very strong travel component. The reason this is going to be important is because while we are global, There are going to be some countries earlier on, and our manufacturer will ship out to 60 countries from day one. Excuse me. There's going to be some countries where shipping might be a little prohibitive until we grow large in that area and we have distribution in that particular area, but everyone can utilize travel. And so our Jubi Resort membership is going to allow people to have access to over 2,000 luxury resort condominiums, over 85 different countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I love to travel. My wife and I, a week from tomorrow, yes, we go to the Dominican Republic, and we go from there to Chile, and then we'll come back to the States, and then we'll go to Ecuador. And friends, remember, we want you to look good, feel good. That's called living good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's tell you our competitive advantage. We talked about net zero consumables. We want folks to simply spend the money they're already spending, but spend that through us. So what's our competitive advantage? Well, there's a couple of them. Number one, we're going to be able to offer to our customers, we'll be able to have customers register for free. So get your friends, your loved ones, your business associates, they can register for free. They could be folks that you've never met. Maybe they saw an ad of yours, because we'll place an ad each day to help drive the name brand of Jubi Max. And so maybe someone just stumbled across your ad and they registered, and they can get a sample. We'll be able to give samples of our Jubi Max product line. So it might be our Jubi Youth, our daytime anti-aging serum, or maybe the full skincare line, or maybe it's our Jubi weight loss. Could you imagine if someone got a 30-day weight loss sample, complete with our meal replacement, complete with our metabolism booster and our fat burner and appetite suppressant and all that good stuff? And what if they replaced a meal a day with that meal replacement, and they wound up losing 8, 10, 12 pounds in the first 30 days? And let's say they wanted a 90-day challenge. They just consumed their sample. Then what do they want to do? Come back and what? Buy some more. The whole idea of sampling, ladies and gentlemen, the whole idea of sampling is so that the customer can try the product. Possession 9/10 of the law. They like the product. They use the product. They've consumed it. They run out, and now they want to come back and buy some more. So now the second competitive advantage, again, another cough, please forgive me. The second competitive advantage is the fact that we're going to be able to give away what we call Jubi Bucks. Now, let's say that Kim has already gotten your skincare sample, all right? She took you up on the skincare sample. She loves the skincare sample. She feels like she's looking younger, maybe some wrinkles, and folks are, oh, what a glow you have, Kim. Okay, but she's running out. She now wants to come into the Jubi Max portal and purchase some more skincare or weight loss or energy or vitality or some of the other products we haven't even talked about. Now, she goes to the checkout counter, and everything totals $100 in my example, yet you've given her some Jubi Bucks. See, a Jubi Buck is a dollar for dollar right now discount. She gets to apply those Jubi Bucks towards the purchase of that $100 product purchase in our example. So maybe you gave her 50 Jubi Bucks. She applies the 50 Jubi Bucks towards the $100 purchase, John. She just saved $50. Now, we love our Jubi Rebates portal. We love the fact that you can go to Walmart and Target and 1-800-Flowers and save 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% depending on the merchant. We love even more the fact that Kim can use her Jubi Bucks to offset products and get a right now discount, in some cases 20, 30, 40, 50, sometimes even 80% or more. So are you seeing the competitive advantage? We get to give away samples. We get to give away Jubi Bucks. And ladies and gentlemen, the more Jubi Bucks, the more samples we give away, the more money we're going to make. You're going to see that our compensation plan rewards you for giving. The more you give, the more you get. 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 Now, let's talk about the money. The company's going to pay us 10 powerful ways. I don't have time to cover all 10 ways. I'm going to cover one, perhaps 1.5, so that at least you walk away saying, oh my gosh, there's a lot of money in this compensation model. So we're going to talk about the personal JubiRev daily leadership bonus. This is the daily revenue sharing. This is the part of our compensation that is just a few short weeks away from launching to the public. but you want to be positioned before that time. Here we go. The daily leadership bonuses. To understand the daily leadership bonuses, we need to understand something called Jubi points, because I want you to imagine this, Khalil. The company's going to share, Lorraine, up to 50% of its daily commissionable sales volume with all qualified promoters. Now, Mabel, you're going to see in a few moments how simple it is to qualify. Now, how does the company, Sam, determine what you get versus what Rico gets, or versus what Paulette gets, or versus what Elaine and Andy get? Well, it's all based on the number of Jubi points you have. The more Jubi points you have, the more of that day's revenue you're going to share in. So it sounds like to me these Jubi points are vital. They're very important. Yes, they are. Okay, so how do I score Jubi points? How do I earn Jubi points? I'm so glad you asked. This is what's going to happen each and every time that you have a customer register, right? Didn't cost them anything to register, and they claim one of three things. They claim Jubi bucks. Remember I said Kim got 50 Jubi bucks. She just registered and your system automatically gave her 50 Jubi bucks in that example. Or they claim access to our Jubi Resort booking engine. I didn't say that they went on a vacation yet. Those would be 8-day, 7-night stays in 2, 3-bedroom condos all across the globe, no timeshare presentations. I didn't say they took a vacation yet. I just said they simply claimed access to go into the booking engine and look around and see what's available. Or anytime they claim their sample. By the way, could a customer claim Jubi bucks, get access to the Jubi Resort, and get a sample? And the answer to that would be a resounding, let me hear you say yes. So those are how you earn Jubi points, by giving away Jubi bucks. Every Jubi buck you give away, in our example, you gave away 50 Jubi bucks to Kim, you would earn 1 Jubi point. You would earn 1 Jubi point per Jubi buck, 50 Jubi bucks, 50 Jubi points. The company's going to reward you a little bit higher if you actually have someone take your sample. Why? Because it's one thing to have Jubi bucks, that's virtual. It's another thing for the customer to actually receive the sample. There's a better chance that that person who has the skincare, a better chance that person who has the weight loss product will consume it because they have it. Not possession is not intention of the law. They like the product. They want to come back and buy some more. So the company's going to say, hey, if you gave away a sample that retailed at $100, we're not just going to give you 100 Jubi bucks. We're going to give you 105 Jubi bucks. Jubi trainer memberships, you'll learn more about that. Jubi Resort membership registrations where they can come in and take a look. They didn't even have to necessarily go on a vacation, book a vacation. They're just coming in to look-see. You're going to earn a whopping as much as 180 Jubi points when that happens. Okay, so now let's show you how this all works. Mr. Attorney, great attorney, tremendous attorney. He's an attack dog. He's there to protect our interests. But he said, hey, you need to make sure that you have this slide here to let folks know that the following is an example that is meant to convey how the Jubi Rev Daily Leadership Bonus works, but it's not meant to imply any type of income guarantees. It can imply income guarantees no more than any other business out there can guarantee is going to receive so many revenues. They can push, they can try, but no income guarantees. All right, so this is how it works. Here we go. So in this a few short, very short, very, very, very short weeks, the Jubi Rev Daily Leadership Bonus will begin. And what the company will do is it will take its daily revenue share. It'll take its daily revenue. It's going to calculate that based on the company's commissionable sales volume. There'll be some other metrics in there. And they're going to determine how much of that day's revenue they're going to share. It could be 50%. It could be sometimes more. And that's what's going to be shared for that particular day. Now, then the company is going to take the amount of revenue it's going to share. I'm going to show you this in an example, so this will be very simple to you. Maybe it generated $1 million for the day as an example. It's going to divide the amount it's going to share, excuse me, by the number of active Jubi points. You see, Fred's got some Jubi points because he was giving away some samples, and so does Gail because she was giving away some samples, and so does George in Australia because he was giving away some samples, and so was Helen and Herbert and Howard and Isaiah and Diane and Dominique and Dusty. They were all giving away samples. So each Jubi point is going to receive a reward that night. We refer to this as a reward per point. Now, what do I need to do? What do you need to do to be qualified, Earl, to be qualified, Kathy, to be qualified, Cheryl, for that day's reward? It's simple. We're going to help brand the name of the company. We're going to place an ad a day. We can do that online. We can do it offline. Many of you would choose to do it online. I want you to imagine 10,000 people a day, then 50,000, then 100,000, then 250,000 people a day, all placing an ad, talking about giving away a free sample, talking about giving away Jubi Bucks, talking about Jubi Max. Do you see how in time that's going to drive more and more traffic and help build the brand? And the company says, even if you're not good at recruiting promoters, you're not good at sponsoring promoters, the fact that you help us get our brand out, we're going to reward you daily, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so here's how this works. The company in our example generates $1 million in commissionable sales revenue. And that day, based on its metrics, it chooses to share $500,000 through the Jubi Rev Daily Leadership Bonus. Now, it's going to take this $500,000, it's going to divide it by all of the Jubi points in the system. Each Jubi point earns a reward. And let's say that Joe has given away some samples. He now has scored 100 Jubi points. Well, it looks at all of his Jubi points. Each Jubi point earns a reward, and so cumulatively, based on his 100 Jubi points, in this example, he earned $1.25 in Jubi Bucks. Now, we are rewarded in additional Jubi Bucks, and this is important to note because when we are rewarded in Jubi Bucks 1, and we then give away those Jubi Bucks 2, we generate more Jubi points. Now, I'm going to show you in a few moments, you can actually commission out a good amount of your daily reward if you want to put commissions, cash in your pocket. But our reward is in Jubi Bucks. Now, Sue, she's giving away more samples. The more you give, the more you get. I told you, the more you give, the more you get. Now, maybe it's just a function of the fact that Sue maybe has been with the company a little bit longer. Or maybe it's a function of the fact that Sue has, built a referral team, and she earned some commissions and used that to buy some more inventory. Maybe Sue had more resources to purchase more inventory early on. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, what we saw is Joe and Susie Average get started where they were, purchase as much inventory, our inventory is Jubi Bucks, as they could afford without ever hurting their families, give that inventory away to generate the points, and then they start earning on a daily basis. In this case, Sue earned the same amount per point as Joe did. She didn't earn any more per point because she built a team and maybe Joe didn't. She earned the same. She just happens to have more Jubi points, so she earned $12.50 in Jubi Bucks. Julio, the more you give, the more you get. The more you give, the more you get. Julio's been giving, so he's getting 10,000 Jubi points. He earned 125 Jubi Bucks. This is what we saw. We saw Lynn start where she was. And through a process of time, her 100 or so Jubi points became thousands. And in time, it became into the tens of thousands. And so a few months into the model, she was able to generate enough cash-in-hand revenue, put it in her hand to have a car payment. A few months after that, house note. A few months after that, full-time income. We saw people hit 100,000 Jubi points. I believe even in pre-registration that we're in, pre-launch that we're in now, we're going to have some folks hitting 100,000 Jubi points. We saw folks hit 500,000 Jubi points. We saw folks hit 1 million or more points, ladies and gentlemen. I said 500,000 Jubi points. It wasn't Jubi points because Jubi wasn't around, but we saw with the model people hitting those types of point totals. You do the math on what that could mean. Now, but what if I want commissions? I understand I'm getting paid in Jubi Bucks, and I like that because I get more inventory and I can give it away and I can generate more Jubi points. I love that. But what if I actually want to put some money in my pocket? Now, there's a formula that we're going to teach you a little bit later on. But in lieu of teaching that formula, let's just understand that you can commission out as much as 60% of your daily reward. So it goes to your e-cash, and then you can commission that So if you earned 100 Jubi bucks, as an example, and you decided to commission out 60%, well, that means $60 would go into your eCash that you could withdraw out as commissions. The other 40 would be in Jubi bucks in inventory, and that way you can give that away to generate more Jubi points. So that gives you a way to generate cash, generate more Jubi points by virtue of giving away those Jubi bucks at the same time. Phenomenal, phenomenal system. Now, in a few moments, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about this chart, but what I want you to know is that what I love about this model is that your Jubi points earn daily. As long as you place your ad and a couple little small qualifiers, once you do that, your Jubi points earn daily. They can earn anywhere from 80 days, not 8, to 85 days to 90, even 105 days. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. Okay, so far I've talked about what happens if you do not refer anyone. You haven't built a referral network at this point. What we saw amazed us because we saw that once our Joe and our Susie averages, all they needed was a story. Open up your questions box. Tell me if anyone has ever told you this. So you went to someone with an income opportunity, friend, family member, business associate, someone on Facebook, and they said, well, when you make money, you come tell me, then I'll come join you. Has anyone ever had someone say that to you? Yeah, look at all, I wish you could see all the yeses. Okay, so what we saw is our Joe averages and our Sue averages. Now, Joe Stars and Sue Superstars, they were making more money than they'd ever made before. But our Joe averages and our Susie averages, they started making money, and they started making money on a daily basis. And some of our Joe and Susie averages went back to folks that said, hey, when you make money, come back and tell me. They said, hey, I'm making some money. As a matter of fact, one of our great leaders, 7-figure producers in their own right, Zeke and Jerry Stewart. Zeke and Jerry, they referred someone to Jubi Rev, a dear lady. I know her. Her name is Patricia out of Delaware. She's phenomenal people. A lot like Lynn, dedicated. She's going to be there. She'll show up on the conference calls, the webinars, but she hadn't really been able to build a large referral network. So Zeke and Jerry said, hey, Pat, listen, with Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, we're just a few short weeks away. With Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, you can join, and even if you don't recruit or sponsor anyone, you're going to be able to generate some money. You're going to be able to make money. And she said, okay, well, send me your link, and I'll go on and register. She got registered. But then Pat, now I don't even know if she had a strategy with this, but Pat goes and she tells someone, hey, listen, over here at Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, you don't even have to be a great recruiter or sponsor, and you're going to be able to make money every single day once their daily revenue share starts. And the person said, oh, really? Well, send me your link. They joined with Pat. She just recruited somebody with her non-recruiting self. She went and told somebody else, hey, Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, you don't even have to be a builder. You don't have to be a great salesperson. You can still make money every day in just a few short weeks when the daily revenue sharing starts. Then a second person joined her. Then the third, then the fourth. This is what we saw. Take it from somebody who's been in this industry 19 years, first 17 years, first few years struggled, then hit our stride. Empty filling. We're making a lot of money. Non-apologetic, because we worked our butt. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that on the conference call. We worked our catootie off. I'm sorry. I forgot. This was not my webinar. This is the corporate webinar. Forgive me for being a little unprofessional there. We worked our heinies off. I'm not apologetic for that. However, what was a sore spot was knowing that most of our teammates weren't making money until we saw this model a couple of years ago. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you build a team, whether you refer 1 or 100, and they refer a few, and they refer a few, your income can skyrocket. It can absolutely skyrocket. Now, I want you to just look at these numbers real quickly, the 10, the 5, and the 1. Now, what does this mean? Let's say you refer me. I come aboard. I see it. I purchase some inventory in the form of Jubi bucks. Maybe I purchased $100 worth. Maybe I purchased $1,000 worth. Maybe I purchased $2,500 or more worth, based on what my resources are. Think of your purchasing Jubi bucks as your inventory. If you had an offline brick-and-mortar store and you want to have as much inventory on your shelf as your resources allow, you'd want to purchase as much inventory as your resources allow. But we do want to make sure here at Jubi Rev, Jubi Max, you don't go and hurt your family. So you don't charge up your credit lines to the hilt or anything like that. Okay, so now, let's give you this example. You refer Maria. Maria makes a purchase of Jubi Bucks. Maybe she made a $1,000 purchase. Maybe she made a $2,000 purchase. Maybe she made a $10 purchase, whatever she could afford. And you're going to get up to a 10% override. So if it was a $1,000 purchase, you just got a $100 override. If it was a $2,500 purchase, you just made $250. Okay? All right, now, that's great. But this is what I really want you to see. This is what we saw. When Maria starts earning daily, she's going to be rewarded in what? Jubi Bucks. Now, even if she commissions out the maximum that she can commission out, there's a certain amount of Jubi Bucks that still goes to her inventory for the day. Any amount of inventory that she has for the day is in the form of additional Jubi Bucks, which means you override that also. So let's say a Sunday night, the company does its daily revenue sharing, and Maria is awarded 92 Jubi Bucks that go into her Jubi Buck inventory. You would get a 10% override in this example, 9.2 Jubi Bucks. Remember, you can commission up to 60% of that out yourself. This allows you to receive some commissions as well as build your Jubi point totals, because you would have more Jubi Bucks, give away, generate more points. The next night, she earned 101 Jubi Bucks. Well, my gosh. Now, all of a sudden, you just got an override of 10.1 Jubi Bucks, 10% in this example. Wait a minute, the next night. She earns 113 Jubi Bucks. You get another 10% override, 11.3. My gosh, what happens on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday? And so this is what we saw. Oh, my goodness. You see, this changed everything. Because our first 17 years in this industry, first few years we struggled. Then we finally hit our stride, empty feeling because we were making money, but our team wasn't. We were teaching monthly residual income. It would work like this. You referred Maria in another opportunity, and she was on auto ship once a month for her case of juice, and you got your $20, $25. Great. Problem is you have to have a lot of Marias doing that to make some money. Now all of a sudden, you maybe had one referral, Maria, and as she earned on Sunday, you got an override. And what about on Monday? You got another override. And Tuesday. So we weren't talking monthly residual income. We're not talking weekly residual income. We're talking daily residual income. Now, before I go forward, and we're about to round third, there was one thing that I neglected to mention, and I would be remiss if I did not bring it up. When we go back to the daily revenue component, and I'm backing up a few slides here. You know, Joe had 100 Jubi points, and Sue had 1,000 Jubi points, and Julio had 10,000 Jubi points. They all earned their daily reward. I forgot to mention this, and I do apologize. The company is going to be paying on a daily basis. All qualified promoters all across the world will be able to earn on a daily basis. So the company had to institute some caps. We didn't pay out more than what was coming in. Obviously, if it paid out more than what it was coming in, that would be problematic, okay? So they did institute a cap. What's the cap? Okay, well, here it is. There is a maximum amount that you can earn on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, cash in hand from the daily revenue. It's the only one of the 10 ways a company pays that had to put some limits on the daily revenue. Okay, what's the most I can earn? 100,000 US dollars. Okay. Clarence says, okay, that's not bad. I can make $100,000 a year. That's not bad. That's not bad. Wait. Clarence, I'm excited that you are Jubi. You're elated and you're excited about that, but let me finish if you would, my friend. Oh, what you mean, Kathy says, is $100,000 a month. I can earn from one way, the 10 ways the company's going to pay $100,000 a month. That's $1.2 million a year. And again, I am excited that you are excited. You are elated. We would call that you are Jubi. You're jubilant. But you didn't quite let me finish. This one element of our compensation plan, the daily revenue alone, you could build your point totals, generate $100,000 a week, cash in hand commissions, and then the company says, gosh, you can't make more than $100,000 a week. Wait a minute. multiply that out. Ladies and gentlemen, that one compensation element alone could be a multi-7-figure annual income. That's one of the 10 ways a company is going to pay. All right, so let's start to round third here. Let's start to round third. Haven't had a chance to talk about our Jubi Suite. You're going to learn about this in your training. This is a tremendous tool. It helps to drive the proper behavior, helps to help our teammates qualify for higher ranks, get our Jubi style bonus, and get your Porsche or your Corvette or your Mercedes or your Beamer, your BMW. Hadn't even talked about that. There's a chart here. I'll just flash it here. I will tell you when you come inside and go through some of our training videos, for those of you that really like to delve into and understand every dollar that you can be paid in the compensation plan. This one chart here, ladies and gentlemen, could make you more money than anything else that I ever talk about. You'll learn more about that as you come inside. What you want to do is a couple of things. You're going to get back with the person who referred you. And you're going to be able to load funds, and I'll show you how to do that. You're going to be able to load funds. Some of you will be able to load funds immediately, okay, because you have the systems to do so, and I'll show you how to do this, okay? Now, when you load funds, one of the things you're going to want to do is plan for your first monthly subscription. Your first monthly subscription is going to be either a Jubi 15, that's $15 a month, a Jubi 50, Jubi 100, Jubi 200. I will tell you, from a consumer standpoint, as well as an income opportunity standpoint, if you've got the resources, your Jubi 200 by far is your best option. If you don't have those resources, then I would go from this side of the chart down. If I can't do 200, then 100. If I can't do 100, then 50, so on and so forth, okay? The goal is to have everyone at the Jubi 200. As you understand more about a compensation plan, you'll understand why that's going to be very pivotal. Now, with your monthly subscription, you're going to get a certain amount of personal use Jubi bucks. What that means is you're not going to give those Jubi bucks away. You are going to use those so that you can buy products and services for your family. We want all of our promoters to be products of the product. So at the Jubi 200, I could buy $200 worth of product in our system, and it's already paid for. Okay, and I go on, maybe I want some weight loss products, and let's get some cardio products over here, let's get some skincare products, so on and so forth. Now, that monthly subscription also gets you volume necessary to hit certain ranks. And so if I were a diamond director, if I had the resources to be a diamond director, ladies and gentlemen, then my Jubi points would earn for the maximum amount of days. So every Jubi point I earn would earn for the next 105 days. The points I earn tomorrow will earn for 105 days. The points I earn on May 17th will earn for 105 days. The points that I earn on June the 16th would earn for 105 days. So the monthly subscription that you choose is very vital for a number of different reasons. I would have you to consider the diamond if you have the resources. The second thing that you're going to do in terms of looking at your budget and getting started is you want to consider how many Jubi bucks do you want to purchase. Jubi bucks would be your virtual inventory. Remember, we can give Jubi bucks away, or if someone wants to get a sample of, let's say, like the skincare, if the skincare is a $100 purchase, well, we are covering that with our Jubi bucks. We had 100 Jubi bucks, that covers that skincare, a sample that was being sent out. So we're essentially purchasing inventory in advance. The beautiful part about this is that you do not have to store up in your garage or your basement the inventory. It's virtual inventory. As soon as someone claims their sample, our manufacturer ships it out to them, and the customer simply covers the shipping and the handling. You can purchase as little as 10, as much as 2,500 Jubi bucks. Actually, in our pre-launch phase, the company will allow you to purchase even more than that. So purchase as much as your resources allow. Just don't hurt yourself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to post our legal details here so you can take a look at that. We typically have a couple of optional sessions after we've finished the webinar. We have finished the webinar, by the way, and so we're going to go into a couple of the optional sessions. The first session I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you that once you align with the person that referred you, a little bit about your back office, how you can go in and upgrade or you can go in and start to load funds so that you can make your purchases of your monthly subscription and your Jubi bucks. Now, we are still just a few days away from everyone actually being able to purchase their products. However, you can go on and you can load up your funds now. I'll also share with you again in this optional period about our promotion, our founders promotion that we have just a few short days before that ends. Give me a moment. I've gotten kicked out here. Bear with me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to log into the back office. This is optional. I'm going to share with you our founders promotion. Bear with me. And then make sure that those of you that want to participate in that know exactly what to do. Okay. So what you're going to do for my guests, you're going to get back to the person who referred you to tonight's webinar. They're going to give you their Jubi Rev link. They're going to give you their Jubi Rev link, and they may have tied it to a domain name, but let's say their Jubi Rev link. Give me just a moment. I just noticed that when I went into the back office, I clicked on the button and it was playing. So hopefully you guys did not hear that. Okay, so bear with me. So you're going to go to the JubiRev.com link, JubiRev.com / their username. Please make sure you use their username so you're driven to the right site. All right, once you've registered, it's going to take you about a minute or so to register. Once you register, you can then log into JubiMax.com / members, JubiMax.com / members. All right, that's where I'm about to show you right now. So we log in. And so now what you want to do is you want to position yourself so that you can take advantage of our pre-launch founders promotion. Now, what is our pre-launch founders promotion? During our pre-launch founders promotion, which originally was set to end on March the 15th, this Friday, and last night our president extended that to March the 22nd. I wouldn't wait till the March the 21st to start loading things up. I'd go on and get started today so you're in position. All right, so now it's been extended to March the 22nd. And here are the tenets of the promotion, okay? One, obviously, you're going to load funds, and then ultimately, as you load funds, you're going to purchase your monthly subscription. And again, you had 4 options there, whether it's $15, $50, $100, or $200. If you have the resources, the $200 is where you'd want to be, okay? And then you're going to purchase inventory in the form of Jubi Bucks. Okay. Now, if you've done that, ladies and gentlemen, whatever your purchase of Jubi Bucks happens to be. Let's say you purchase 1,000 Jubi Bucks. So you've covered your monthly subscription for the first month and you've purchased 1,000 Jubi Bucks. Normally what would happen is once you gave away 1,000 Jubi Bucks to your customers, you would earn 1,000 Jubi points for your daily revenue sharing. Okay? However, you're going to get a 15% match. So instead of earning 1,000 Jubi points once you've given away the Jubi Bucks, you're going to earn 1,150 Jubi points, a 15% match. The company is saying, hey, listen, we're going to reward you for believing in us in this pre-launch phase. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is huge because those points that you earn, you get this 15% match, those points that you earn, if you were at the $200 a month subscription level, well, you're earning on those additional points for an extra 105 days. That's powerful, absolutely powerful, okay? The other part of that is, should you refer others and they also participate in this founder's promotion, when they make a purchase of Jubi Bucks, they're going to get their 15% match as they give the Jubi Bucks away. You are going to get a 10% match in Jubi points. Now, you'll also get some commissions, all right? But now I'm talking about a 10% match in Jubi points. So let's say that you refer someone and they make a $1,000 purchase in Jubi Bucks. you get another 10% match. In Jubi points, you earn another 100 Jubi points. What if you referred a few folks and collectively they purchased $10,000 worth? Well, you'd earn another 1,000 Jubi points. And ladies and gentlemen, we've seen how a pre-launch like this and a founder's promotion like this can work. All right, we've seen folks that grew a referral network and all of their personal enrollees combined purchased $100,000 worth of inventory. So how would you like to get an extra 10,000 Jubi points added to your Jubi point total, and they earn for maybe as much as 105 days on top of what you would have normally had in terms of Jubi points anyway? So I want you to take advantage of this promotion. Again, it has been extended. It may not be extended beyond that, so don't wait. Okay, so now how do we take advantage of it? All right, so you've registered with the person who referred you. One, you log into your back office, JubiMax.com/members. You click where it says upgrade. I'm in a training account, by the way. When you click on upgrade, you're going to see the upgrade or the purchase options, okay? The quickest way, if you happen to have Payza or Solid Trust Pay, and you have funds in Payza or Solid Trust Pay, the quickest way to load money is to use one of those or both of these systems, because it loads automatically. From the time you click load money and you confirm with Payza or Solid Trust Pay your details, it brings you right back here and you'll see your funds loaded, okay? Now, if you don't have Payza or Solid Trust Pay and you live in the United States, you can do an online check, an ACH.